Ninja! Ninja! Ninja!
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our daily gun show, where we come to you live every weeknight at midnight Eastern and talk about guns. So got a rare treat. The little puppy is sitting next to me today. Usually she doesn't have anything to do with me when I'm talking on this show because she feels like I'm not talking to her, but for whatever reason she's sitting right next to me today. So I'm able to pet this little puppy. Hear that? That's actual puppy back I'm hitting. All right, so got a couple people joining us right off the bat. Ahmed Bashir, DTP, and Foss. So just looking at I guess I'm looking at my Daily Gun Show channel. I think we're allowed to show this stuff now. We used to not be able to show this stuff. But this is what it looks like when you do a weekly show on the weekends. Nobody pays attention to it, so it gets a real cyclical thing. Let's go to Lifetime. That's always the funnest thing. I don't like looking at months at a time. I never look at analytics months at a time because then you're wasting your time. When you look at Lifetime, you can see trends. You can see when we started this show, it was called something else. I won't tell you what it was called. But then we did that on the big channel. And then we moved it over here because Dano wanted to make money on this show. And we needed to separate it from the big channel. So I also wanted to see if this show could stand alone on its own as a project. So we put it over its own channel, and then we couldn't monetize it, so that was an issue. So then we had to wait a couple of months, I guess. And then eventually we brought it over here, got it monetized, and kicked it off. And I think for a while there we did pretty good having formats and stuff. But it's tough doing a daily show. It's easy to do a weekly show. Any punk can do a weekly show. You don't have to do shit all week long. You can sit around for an hour. But when you have to sit down and do this for an hour plus, I don't know, we do it 4 hours sometimes, daily, it gets to be more of a burden. So getting 3 people to do it is it's not possible. We haven't figured it out. So you can see that you got some trends there over the years, and that's probably quality of the show and interest in audience or whatever. And then everybody just gave up on it at this point. It turned into the garbage that it is now. And obviously that doesn't get views. So there's a view if you're not looking for views, what your analytics are going to look like. And then the fun part is to flip that over to revenue, because who cares about views? Let's talk about money. I've made over $300. I've harvested over $300 on this show over the last 4 years. Suckers, that's almost $100 a year. All you got to do is sit around for a couple hours every night and talk about shit that nobody cares about, and you'll make almost $100 a year. It's pretty good money if you think about it. But let's make some real money by digging into Adobe Illustrator, paying them some money. Started working on a project yesterday. I'm going to keep working on that project. I don't even think days exist anymore. Are there going to be days in the after? I don't think so. Let's see. That guy that's out there, and John Brown Productions is also out there. Somebody quirking me? I can't quirk. I've been here for 1,000 episodes. It's not possible for me to quirk. But I relinquish my days to people all the damn time. I don't care. But I didn't know anybody was quirking me. I looked around, but I looked around on the stupid Daily Gun Show channel. It doesn't subscribe to anybody, I guess. So I didn't see anybody live. I'm working on gun shops because I need to. Here's how I do it. I go over to Google, whatever it's called, and then I have this thing here. I call it my schedule. And on my schedule, I keep track of what videos I'm making. I try to do mail calls on Monday, and I try to do Guns Are on Wednesdays, and cartoons on Fridays, tours on Sundays, right? So I got my schedule, my kind of weekly thing. I can do this. I could freeze the first 8 lines. Up to row 8. So let's do it like this. Let's highlight these. And then we'll say view freeze all of those. Rows. It's just way too long. View freeze. Up to current row 2. Oh, I want to give me other ones. I guess I can't freeze the tornado. Anyway, so I've got shows going down for a ways out till middle of June or end of June. But you can see there's gaps here. And those gaps are on Saturdays. And Saturday is gun museum tours. So guess what I'm doing? I'm drawing gun museums. So let's see. I actually drew a couple other things besides gun museums. But I did the... these images are way too big, so it's yelling at me. I did this one yesterday. Boom. I don't know if that's going to show up good. I guess I can scroll down. So that's the Los Angeles Police Museum. But since you can't tell what it is, I also did that. Oops, where'd that go? Did the sign out front with the van. So we got that one going. And then happened there. And then we went to J.M. Davis and did some J.M. Davis action. Looks pretty good. I also need these for projects, so I'm dual purposing this effort right here. So then there's that. And then today I think I'm gonna do, even though it's not a gun museum. Oh, we can either do Boot Hill. I was thinking about doing Boot Hill. Let's see. We can either do Boot Hill, which is in Kansas. Gary's out there. He might have a say on that. And then, or we can do, I guess we do the Browning Museum. I need to do that one. Got the NRA Museum. Whittingham Center, Wanamaker. Wanamaker is going to be pretty good. So here you can vote for, we're going to do this. Let's make a poll real quick. So you go, I want to show you all my stuff. So we'll go to here, and we'll go to here. How do I do this? Yes, you can see most of this stuff. You can see this stuff. I'll go to my drive, and then I'll click new. And I guess I'm not going to show you. And then I'm going to go to more, and we'll go to forms. Now we got a new form starting up. And it'll be DGS number, what is this show? 158. And then it'll be Boot Hill Museum. So option number 1 will be Boot Hill Museum. Option number 2 will be John Browning Museum. Add option. Next one will be, this is NRA Museum. That's like the one in Virginia, the big one. And then this is the other NRA Museum that's in New Mexico. New Mexico. And then Wanamaker. I already did the, what do you call that thing? The statue out front, but do more. And I think that's your options. Well, we can also do the Texas. I'm not going to put Texas Ranger. I want to do that one. I guess I have to put here at some point. You can use this for what order? Hall of Fame. All right. So what is this? This is required. Sure. So which? And then there's your instructions. And then send, right? And then I can turn this into a link, shorten that URL. I don't know why they even give you a long one. Here's your deal. You can go vote now. Oops, here's your deal. You can go vote now. Move this over here. Move this over here. Move it over here. Oh, let's see. Is it me or are corking levels happening at unprecedented rates? There's no consequences for corking other than minimal views. It makes everybody step up their game, don't it? If everybody's jumping in, doesn't it make everybody get better? Or is it unfair to people that suck? Especially if you suck butts. To cork or not to cork? I don't know. I don't think there's an unlimited audience. I mean, it'd be nice because there's potentially unlimited audience, but there has to be people pulling people onto YouTube. Unless you're talking corking on other platforms. Soon we'll have a gun tube that's completely self-contained. Like this won't have to be royalty-free, non-attribution required. It could be like real music on GunTube. Let's see. I'm just a clout demon in the side chats. I don't know what that means. Good evening. Welcome from Tucson. You're all saying hello to each other. Just get a room. See how they do all this business in other chats. Everybody knows everybody likes each other. There have been shows that have overlapped. Yep, definitely. Several more happening. I don't know why, really. What's bugging me is that there's no shows during the day. Most people, right? Nobody works anymore after, except for the suckers who have to work. Everybody else is taking a month-long vacation. So why aren't there live shows all day long? People are all depressed and sitting around, probably paying attention to their families and their loved ones or whatever. You need a face mask, beanie to cork. All right, so now we're going to go cancel, and then we're going to go to the responses. There's zero responses, really? Really? What do I have to do? Do I have to send you something different? Oh, it says waiting for responses. So let me send this. Let me get a link. Shorten the URL. It should work. I send this out to you. Paste. Yeah, I got too lazy to click on this. Here. I'll just pick, I guess. Nobody wants to pick one. Let's see. I don't see what's wrong with people doing shows. It's a chance to bring more people in the conversation. Heck yeah, I don't want to listen to half the people talking about whatever boring old stuff they're talking about anyway. So I want to hear different versions of what people are interested in for sure. Viewer count should be equal. That's true. There could be some sort of a YouTube logarithm that would just spread people out. You'll be watching something, but then it'll take you to what's more appropriate for you. Like old people. Like old people should have to go to their own chats. I don't mind if old people are online, as long as they're online in the back. I started muting people's stories on AG because they go on live every other hour. Oh, interesting. Oh, on IG. Oh, I hear you. Oh, you can mute just the stories? I did not know that. I've just been shutting off channels that won't quit going live every freaking 5 minutes. Thank you. I did not know that one. Oh, you just clicked on the boot help. So I'm going to go over here and see if I got a response. Oh, I have to actually go to the response thing, not the form. Okay, now we got two. It's 50-50. So Bob's out there. No, I'm not talking about you, Bob. You're not old. Hawaii Volcano Squad is old. He's the one who lives on a volcano. He's all sensitive. He's old and sensitive. The oldens, sometimes what happens is their bones get brittle and they get frail. Their skin gets really thin like onion skin and their bones are brittle. And they know that just a hard breeze can knock them over and probably knock them into a rock or blade of grass or something and they'll break a bone. So they get really scared, paranoid. He's in that stage. So he gets really mad if you talk about old people. Now I go watch Star Trek reruns. Okay. Press on, hold on their story. It gives, that's awesome. Thank you for that. Because I'll probably not subscribe to some channels that I unsubscribe to because whatever, but I'll definitely mute some live things. Especially, what's up with people that just only repost their post into the stories? There's a couple of people that will have 6 channels and all they do is repost the same thing onto all 6 channels. I don't get it. All right, well, we'll get a couple more votes here and then we'll start drawing. I don't want to sit around all night waiting for votes. All lazy viewers. 13 of you, and I got 2 votes. And it's free. Doesn't even cost you nothing. I guess I'll drink the hell out of this water and then I'll go make some coffee. We'll see what's up. How many of these places has Bob been to? We're talking about which place we're going to draw next. So we got the Boot Hill Museum in Kansas. I don't think he ever went there. The John Browning Museum in, well, I'm going to just say Salt Lake City. I think he went there with Dead Horse. Dead Horse is out here. NRA Museum in Virginia. I'm pretty sure you didn't go there. The NRA Museum in New Mexico, you drove past it like 1,000 times. And then Wanamaker, you haven't been there, I don't think. That would be good though if Bob could get to Wanamaker. And then the Texas Ranger Hall of Fame, which you'd probably dig. I don't know if you've been, did you ever get over to Texas? I think you wanted to get to Texas, but I don't know if you ever got to Texas. Uh-oh, Bob's looking at a sailboat now. That's all we need is a sailing Bob. How does that even work? You would just get some kind of a ramp so that you would sail up close to the shore and then like jump a motorcycle off that ramp onto the shore, tool around on land for a while your dog is sailing the boat like parallel to the shore. And then when you get sick of driving around on land, you jump like a mogul and then jump back onto your boat with the motorcycle. I guess maybe that's how he goes to get rations and shit. You've been to Tulsa twice? You've been to the Wanamaker show twice? I thought I was going to drink all that water. I couldn't drink it. We got another response over here. All right, that's 2 for the Browning Museum. So you all can keep voting. You can keep throwing your answers into this link. And then we'll use that for the order, I guess. Oh, I didn't realize. And then just jam this over to here. Bring this over to here. And up. So this is Adobe Illustrator. I use it all the time. It costs $50 a month. It's a ripoff from regular people, I think. But it's super powerful. So I like it. And it comes with a lot of other software for $50 a month. All right, so what are we talking about? We're talking about NRA Museum, right? Dang, I forgot already what. Come on, cancel responses. Oh shit, now I got 4, but it's still the Browning Museum. I'm not sure what the options look like. How did somebody get to cram their own answer in there? John Browning Museum. Looks like this. Looks like that on the outside, and it looks like this. Let's see. So you go in, you either park over here or over here. This is a fake parking lot. This isn't really a parking lot. So you park over here, let's say, and then you walk into over here because, well, back in the day, you used to pay over here to go in, and now you pay over here to go in. So you walk in this door probably, or this door up here, sucker, and then you pay over here to get in, and then you go walk all the way across this giant room. This is just a big giant room in here. Go across this big giant room. Right here is where the little thing is that smashes a penny, and it'll say John Browning Museum on it. So if you want to smash some pennies and get a John Browning's penny, go right here. But anyway, you go walk into here, and then I think it's right here, right? Or wait, no, you go down this hallway. So the Browning Museum is actually over here someplace on the top floor. Yeah, it's probably like this area of the top floor. But you can't really walk in over here because you got to pay way over here. Anyway, so that's the building. And then once you walk all the way over to here, you're going to get to a stairway, and that's going to look like this. And then you walk through these doors, and then you go up. These are called stairs. And then you go up to the second floor. And we're going to draw that. This is probably still way too big. So we're going to unlock that, move this over here, and make this, first off, I'll just leave it really big and copy a smaller one. Or copy, and then make that really small. And then come in. Let's just copy and paste that again, drop that down. 100%. Lock it. Highlight that. Paste that. Call it color. And call it lines. And then start drawing. I'm going to do this one with lines, I think, instead of a paintbrush. So more like a ruler and a pen. There's actually some really neat ways to look at this when you're zinging around on Google Maps and stuff to all the railroad tracks and stuff in the area. This is actually a pretty neat place. So I guess it's some old train station, and I don't know if Browning really had anything to do with trains other than this was thought to be a train station in the area. They put both the museums in the same building. I think it would have been cooler actually if they put the Browning Museum into one of the factories, but I'm guessing this is more cost efficient or something. This is actually really fairly easy one to draw. It's just like going back to high school and being in a drafting class. Doing isometric drawings, is what these are called. So if you know anybody's an architect, this is how they do all day. They fart around drawing, playing around on a computer. You just go find some other building, copy it. Except they do it in blue. That's the trick. See if anybody say anything. I need to get one of them. Remember war games? That thing would be like have the computer voice. And then old ass Macintoshes in AOL chat rooms, we used to be able to set each person in the chat room a different voice on a Macintosh, and you could just sit there listening to your chat room. So I could just set a different voice to like Bob and DTP, and I could go over here minding my business, and I would just be listening to them dudes talk, except it would be little war games, computer voices talking to each other. And that was in 1997. Well, 98 probably when I had that set up. Yeah, well, gave me that setup. Okay, this song is stupid. Let's change this song. I'm going to just remove this song. What's the name of it? Sense of Humor. Yeah, you need a sense of humor to even have that song. All right. I was going to check some comments. There wasn't I. So this is that song that's like the end of Buckaroo Banzai. So since Bob and everybody's out there, you got a picture of Bob walking at the end of Buckaroo Banzai in the Los Angeles River. Let's go like this. And, so this is the end of the movie Buckaroo Banzai.
Any idea what they're going to do with it?
Oops, this is a commercial for pandering Bread and Circus garbage. So the end is this. I'll pause this music, and this is the copyright music. So it's basically the same music, right? Except now you got a picture. This is Bob walking. And there's DM Foss coming up, hanging out with him. And there comes HVS coming in from Hawaii. Right? Oh crap, went right to the end. And then everybody starts to come in. So you got Mika coming in from Finland. Eventually, Angelina will come in here. She lives in California. And then eventually at the end, flip back to the copyright music. All movies should end this way, where the cast comes together walking in the LA River in old 80s suits or whatever. Right? That's enough copywriting. So this, whenever you hear this music, you got to think of Bob. assembling his crew and walking down the dry LA River at the end of some video. And that's how you know that people that make videos for entertainment don't even give a shit, because they would be ending them like that if they did. Let's see, like a Chrysler New Yorker. I had a 72 Impala that didn't have wings or nothing, but it was awesome to drive that car around. Man, I wish I still had that car sometimes. I got to drive an old Cadillacs, like, you know, old Cadillacs that were huge, but I don't know about a 76 Chrysler New Yorker. Never had Chryslers. Got to work out how to get it to the sea. Have to go north to Hudson Bay. I have a penny from there. I don't know what that means. Nobody knows any of your boat talk about. Oh, boat that needs some work. Amazing. Is that a thing? Do boats break down? Boats need work? I thought boats just float. It's easy. Just get a boat, put it in the water, float around. What are we talking about? No. I don't know what you're talking about on this one. Unless I'm missing stuff. I could be missing stuff. Been sitting for 22 years or so. Oh, that boat you're talking about. Oh, this is way too loud. In your bunker, would you take a med school grad or a nurse with 15 years in ICU? Ooh, that's a good question. Would you take a med school grad or a nurse with 15 years ICU? That means the nurse is old, so it's a trick question. Young med school student who knows everything, because med school students know everything already. And then old nurse who's probably forgotten a bunch of stuff along the way. I'll take both. That's the real answer. Get a room. Let's see. I want my computer voice to be Hal's. Then you have to say things with pauses in them all the time. Craftworks. I don't know Craftworks, but I've heard of that, I think. No, never did a. Whenever we start doing Gun Channels cartoons, that'll be an epic Gun Channels story or whatever. I've been thinking a couple of different ways about doing how to do Gun Channels, the graphic novel. Is Ozzy out there? I was going to say something to Ozzy, and now I can't remember what it was. I had something to tell Ozzy. In LA, that's how it is at the river. Yeah, it's a really good movie. I watched it again the other day, and it holds up pretty dang good. That would have to be almost an entire comic. Oh, for that? You could do a whole thing on the Sharpie marker knife fight. Trying to remember his avatar. Was this him naked or something? Big naked Quark? I was waiting on neither from each of us. Oh. I know what you're talking about for the nurses. He's gone. He got mad at me yelling about old people being old. Or it's past his bedtime. You know, like 6:30 they eat their pudding, and then they try to poop or whatever, and then they go to bed. He probably just comes in here long enough to listen to me get mad about old people, and then he can go to his old people hot pool, or what they call a hot tub tomorrow. Like, you heard what they said about the old uns yesterday on the show again. Oh, those youngins. Whippersnappers always talking about the old ones. I don't know why I keep putting these things. I keep doing this, and then I have to erase it later. I should probably just quit doing it. I never knew there was a big train over here. I guess that makes sense since it is a train museum. I don't know if Ted Hor's going to show up tonight. He's probably been to this thing more than anybody because he lives kind of near it. He takes people to it when they visit. So I wonder if he's ever been to the train museum or if that's not interested. I forget what I was looking at. I was looking at pictures of some the other day, and I was like, same kind of thing. I was like, dang, I should have gone to that when I was there. This makes me think I did do the Red Dawn Town too for something else. So that means I could pull that over into this project. All right, I don't know if I need every single line on this thing. Zoom back out, see what it looks like. Let's get some trees in there. All right, there's a bunch of trees. Now I gotta go delete this stupid line that I drew for no reason. How about I use the eraser and not some gradient tool? So I don't know if anybody else out there is chatting about stuff. I've been kind of paying attention to the drawing over here, so feel free to have a conversation over here. People watching. I got 13 people watching. Cruise Train Museum I've been to is Chattanooga, and the train exhibit at the Chicago Museum of Science Industry. All right, so I've been to both of those. When I was driving around the country in 2012 with us, Artis and Tony put us up in the Chattanooga Choo Choo Hotel. So I've stayed in one of the, I guess, what would you call it? Like a passenger car, because it had a bathroom. So I'm thinking it was a passenger car. And then they take all of the seats and put in like, a hotel room, basically a fancy hotel room. Well, a fancy hotel room from like if you went to Tombstone, it would be like a fancy hotel room like that. Red velvet chair and gas lamps and stuff like that. So yeah, we stayed, it was just one night at that place, and pretty cool. I mean, the place was little because it's from the olden days and everybody was little back in the olden days. So the bathroom was kind of small for us, but as an experience or whatever, freaking amazing. Pretty sure Haas took the bed, and I think I was just on I think it might have been like a pull-out couch, but I don't usually bother pulling those out. I just sleep on it like a couch, but I don't remember. Got a picture of Oro sitting in the fancy velvet chair. But it's all from like the 20s or whatever, so it's neat going to a museum or something, but then being able to sleep overnight in one is super cool. Being able to just spend that amount of time, I guess, in the olden stuff. It would have been like being in a train when HVS was a kid in the 1920s. So the good news is hopefully I can just not do that, but instead, why is the bottom even moving? It shouldn't even be open. So let's go ahead and lock that layer because it shouldn't even be able to be clicked. And now when I copy those, good. I can copy those, remove that piece, copy, paste, group them so I don't have to screw around looking for each one. Now they're just like one thing. Oops. And now instead of tweaking them, I can pull them over here. Zoom in a little bit and see if I can't do something like this. I'm working on. Even though it ain't perfect, it works for this. And then the same thing over here. Unselect that, unselect that, unselect that, unselect that. Just have the windows, copy, paste, group them. So what happens if I shove them over here? Close enough. Ungroup them. Delete this one, rogue one. Actually, there's no point in deleting it. I can just as easily drag it over there. Tilt it a little bit. Actually, I'll just flip it. Alright, zoom way in so that I can actually find that handle and tweak it just a little bit more. And that's basically a way to copy paste. And now it's a little bit bigger. Paste. And a little faster than doing this every time. And since I didn't actually put trees everywhere, there's a little extra building right here. And even though those were actually nowhere near the lines, when you zoom back out, you can't tell that those look at a very small detail there. All right, so now I'm going to put a little bit more detail on some of the doors and stuff, so it looks weird right now. Details are out of shape. Got to get a bit more consistency in there. So start drawing some of these, I guess. I think you had a YouTube-related question for HVS, but I forgot and didn't write it on paper, so I didn't want a paper trail. Oh, okay, that's probably good. Late night MDG. I used to walk through the train yards to get hockey practice. Oh, to get to hockey practice. I'm like, how does that hockey practice? Crawl under the trains? Well, it depends. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. They probably don't want kids in there, but they can't fence everything. So there's probably places where people are doing that kind of stuff still today. I know what you're talking about, though. I didn't mind going on freight trains because they were relatively slow, but some of the like passenger trains and stuff, the commuter trains, they would haul butt. Like, those were dangerous. Like, you didn't even really hear them coming. They were going so fast. I can't even imagine, like in Japan, is it where they have the fast trains? This must be up in the air or something, so that people can't just be standing there minding their business and get hit by a train all the time. All right, so I can just take that, squish it just a little bit. That's the problem with not grouping them. So now I just undid and then pasted again. Cheap to group these. This one sounds like Dylan or something. Maybe a little smaller. All right, so let's see what that looks like. That's looking a little better. Go in, copy these over. Maybe a couple more of these windows just to give it that balance. Is that the word I'm looking for? There we go. So that looks like the museum to me. I think I'm gonna do something like this. Wonder why the helicopter's flying around. Probably gonna put this in here because this is something that's kind of neat. Over there, you recognize it. There's some flagpoles in there. You just can't see them from this angle like this. All right, now let's see what that looks like without the color in the background. I think it looks all right. So we'll put that color back on for just a second. And I'm going to get in here and do this real quick. And just because it's faster, I've just been going in and doing these by hand. Whoa, maybe not this one by hand. Click on this one, and then click on this. Nope. So even though it gives it that shitty hand-drawn look, it's way faster than trying to do all this stuff small, and it's consistent with the other ones that I've done this shitty with. Hand-drawn shit on. All right, and then do something over here. Something over here. Not bad. All right, so once you lose your tool, it's easy to just click on something, and now you got its tool. Actually, I'll probably just take this because I was doing over here anyway before. I was probably trying to do this and didn't, so now I did. And do something like this maybe. This thing on snap to grid again. All right, now I'm gonna quit thinking with it. Go to there, go to color, layer, and start coloring. Let's see what people are saying over here. We're saying nothing. I used to have to climb over parked rail cars and Flagstaff to get to the university for school. I had to ride a mountain bike and haul it over the rails and drop it 10 feet down. Huh. I used to just ride around down for shits and giggles. I never had to like hand across or anything. 30 miles south of me, there's a train museum. They have rides on the steam train. That'd be neat. There's some stuff in Colorado that's trains. I would do it, except it seems like it's probably a bunch of old people stinking it up, taking up, causing lines and stuff. But that would be probably pretty cool. One of those old, like, I think they're, I don't know if they go back to towns back there or if they're old, like, mining cars that, or mining train routes that they put cars on. They're not mining them anymore. For some reason, I thought that's the deal. But that does sound like something that would be interesting to go check out. You do it without the old people. So I'm going to try to do this whole roof in a color. I can do it. I think I can. And it looks like they all sort of connect. So that was pretty good. Boom. That's pretty easy. Maybe I'll figure out that it doesn't not do it. I'm just going to mostly do this in like just a bunch of faces and then clean it up or add some detail at the end, maybe. So I just go around hitting all these faces on different planes or whatever in different groups, and then I'll go through and change the colors to be appropriate for the whatever it's doing. I'm probably gonna start hemorrhaging now at some point because somebody's saying nothing. And I'm not saying anything. Or for old people, you wouldn't have young people. That's a good point. Old people have given up though. There's the young people are having younger people. You know what I mean? And then there's like the old people getting all crotchety about it. These young people. So what I just do, I stuck my thumb on the trackpad. That's what happens. So we're almost there. All right. My eye, touch my face a bunch of times, and then come out here and cough. All right, now I can go over here and do a whole bunch of back and forth. So first we grab that, and then we suck this color onto there. That looks like a good color, actually. First chance. Now we'll go over here and grab some kind of color for the side. We want something dark. We don't want something too dark, so that's good. And now I'll just go ahead and use that for every other side. Am I crazy? How many other sides are there? So we're going to apply that same color to all of those. One color. But how about that color? All right. Now we're going to pick this color. It's going to be this one. That didn't work, so we'll do that one too. There. All right, this color will be this one. And now we'll use that color for most of these fronts. And then for the rest of these fronts that aren't necessarily touching each other, we will use a different color that will pull from here. We want it to be different. Ooh, that's way different. Nope. Oh, come on. Yeah, that's good enough. All right, and I just realized my Chinese water torture is gone, so I'm going to take a second and go turn that off. All right. How much I have to do still. So now we're going to turn off the background color, and it looks like the building's basically done. Let's put some color into these trees. Apartment next is out there. Look at all these old people coming in and acting like they're all. I think it says a lot about y'all if y'all are considering yourself old. I'm talking HVS, one of the oldest people we got on the internet. I don't even know how old he is, but he acts old. Not true. Young people can make more young people. Yeah, exactly. 212. I don't know what that is. Is that his whole name? No. Made a couple of young people when I was young. Exactly. Instead of guitars, now they want our sidearms. I don't know what that means. I think they're talking about music, maybe. The old people were once the young people making young people there now. Well, yeah. But then they get old and crotchety. Once you get crotchety, you're old. That's how you can tell. So now we got a little bit of grass over there. Got some grass over there. A little bit of grass right here. Just to be authentic to the actual grass. Go ahead and make this thing blue. I can't remember. I think this is water, actually. All right, now I'm going to try to figure out how to make some trees. Let's see. Yes, Rush. Oh, okay. I was in here a minute ago. He would know what you're talking about. He's Canadian. Uh-oh, here comes the Buckaroo Banzai song again. I don't have that many selected. I need to go select more than like 4 songs on them. I have like 13 of them in here, and I only selected a few for the beginning of the show. Because it always starts with this one. Everybody thinks this is like a Chinese food restaurant because when the show starts, it goes straight to this like Chinese food restaurant song. Halftime, not halftime, but occasionally when I end the show, I'll leave that thing on because I don't remember that I got it going because I don't listen to it really. It's just a filled noise, so I don't hear the Chinese water charger and stuff. So I'll be minding my business doing whatever, and then I'll be like, this soundtrack sounds just like a YouTube video. And then I'll realize that I've got my non-attribution required royalty-free music playing in the background. So there's all kinds of movies that I think have YouTube music in them that actually don't have YouTube music in them, probably. Because I don't always catch it. Sometimes I'll be like, this is the shittiest music ever. It sounds like there's YouTube music mixed in with it. And then I'll look over and figure out that there is YouTube music mixed in with it. I think I was watching like Love Scene or something. I don't think that YouTube instructional video music comes on. I'm like, what? Dumbest choice for music ever. This is the Chicago ripoff. One more tree, I think. One more. Oh, maybe there's another boat over there. Now we're at 3 for John Browning, 1 from not sure what happened. That might be the old guy, doesn't understand how it works. So we're doing the John Browning. Let's see. I don't know, is that the name of a song? 2112? I got rid of my turntables, or my turntable, or my record player, I guess. But I haven't had one in a long time. I still got my records, so I didn't throw my records away. All right, so now we'll just pick like that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, this one, this one, this one, and we'll grab that color. That's not that color, that color, that color, that color. Okay. And then we'll grab this one, and this one, and we'll grab this color. Okay. And then we'll grab that one. We'll leave the same. That one. No, just this. This one and this one will be this color. A bit lighter. That color. And then that one and this one. I guess I will change that color. Will be this color. This color. This color. Some other color. How about this color? I don't like any of these colors. So this color. There's a color it should be. I just haven't seen it yet. You know what? It is going to be that color. So that just happened. And then we'll just make the grass a better color than the shitty color. And we'll just do that by not, well, I guess let's try to make it real grass with it. I'll try to see what the real grass color is. It's not green enough for me. Why is our grass so brown? We're faking it. We're going to our own color green. It's a great OD green, but I don't like it for this picture. We're going there. Ugh, we're going there. All right, so now we got a colors. We got some mixed greens, and now we'll make this thing blue. And just make it the blue of this, which is better. I think I'm going to make this a parking lot real quick. So just real quick, like make this into a box. Actually, I can do it really quick, like this, and then just make that a much darker color. And right click, arrange, send to back. Boom, now it's in the bottom. And now when we turn that shit off, that looks like the place. So we'll delete John Browning, copy it, and we'll save that as. Nope, you don't need to save it as anything. That's the wrong button. You can digitize your records. Yep. They make a thing. It's not even that expensive. It's a record player you plug into a USB or something, right? And then it'll do that. Well, I'm not saying Rush doesn't make good music. It's just too Dungeons and Dragons for me. Too many wizards and shit in it. We're going to call this Loophole Tour and John Browning Museum. So then we just exported it as a JPEG, which is super boring. And then we will turn back on the thing by turning off those things. And let's see, we will click it and drop it. like this. Did it work? Oh yeah, it would work if I did this. That didn't work. So take this piece and then just do this maybe. That's the way to do it. That didn't work either. What the hell? I can't figure out how to release some fucking JPEG. Oh, I have to image trace it first. Oh, that's kind of neat. That's super neat. I've never done that before. I'm going to go ahead and save that just because it's neat. All right, so now export this as this too. And then that's okay. And then go back to getting rid of that. You all right? Why are you being weird? Just came in here being real weird. All right, and then we'll flip this. Oh, first we have to touch this. And then we flip this to ping. And then we'll save it as that same name in ping. And now we have it saved as a transparent background. Just a transparent hovering jam or Browning Museum. All right, so that was this was the Browning Museum. So let me go back to this and lock that and bring this back open and turn those other layers back on. Why didn't that work? Turn these other layers back on. There. That was this is the train station in Orem. I forget where it is, and just north of Salt Lake City. There's this old-fashioned train station that's a train museum, but in the upstairs of it is the J.M. Davis Museum. Go up these stairs here, and that's where I keep saying J.M. Davis, the John Browning Museum is. So that's where a lot of you don't really have John Browning prototypes because he would take apart his old guns to make new guns out of them, and then he didn't really have a lot of archive, a lot of stuff. But he, what there is at this museum. His workshop is there, like his actual tool bench and his tools. The one from the United States, at least, he had a different one in Europe, and then a whole bunch of the guns, but they're like an early model of the gun. They're not necessarily like the gun that he made. He didn't necessarily make guns, I don't think, so much as he would design stuff, make the working part, send that to Winchester, and then they would make a gun out of it. So I don't know if he made that many guns as much as we would think of them. Like he didn't sit down and start making a gun and finish making a gun. He'd sit down and make a lever action and figure out how the lever action worked and send that piece of it to Remington or whatever, Winchester. And then they would, I think, put it together into like a Model 94. They didn't. I don't think he made a Model 94 and gave it to them. I might be wrong, but anyway, you don't see a lot of stuff that says it's like Browning touched this or anything. It's just stuff that was early, but it represents all of his evolution, I guess. So anyway, I've been doing a series on the different museums for a couple of different projects, actually. So we've got now the museum in Missouri. It's at a Bass Pro. Did this one yesterday. Actually, we did the lines and stuff the other day, and then I colored it off air. We got the James Davis Museum someplace. Let's see. These things are all in different places on the canvas thing, or whatever you call this, like digital canvas. There's the James Davis Museum from a visit in 17, I think. We didn't get Wanamaker yet. I did the Los Angeles Police Museum off air. Again, I gotta figure out where all these things are. So there's the Los Angeles Police Museum, which is an old police station. It's pretty cool. But since you can't really tell what it is, I also did the sign out front. And I'll try to figure out a way to show up these two arts together to be so that it shows that that's the art museum, even though they don't really, they're on different sides of the parking lot. And then we just did the Browning Museum. The Browning Museum. So we'll still do a couple others. We've got a poll going on so people can vote for what they'd like to see done, and you can click on this link. I think if you click on this link, no, it's way longer than the other link. Oh, a band. Okay. So last weekend offloading, no internet to stream music. Wife brings a cassette tape. Kids found out why I still have a cassette player in the Land Cruiser. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So in other words, when you go out and you're in the middle of nowhere, because you were out tooling around in the desert, or what we call the desert, but everybody else would call it the mountains. You were out tooling around in the hills, and you don't have internet out there. Thing is, I got my satellite radio. So Maggie gave me that satellite radio, and I still pay, I pay $20-something a month for it. So it's a bit of a ripoff, but it's been paid for 100%. Being able to listen to the Dead driving around in the middle of nowhere. That thing works everywhere. So I hear what you're saying. If you didn't have satellite, you didn't want to pay for satellite radio, then a cassette player would be pretty decent. But you can get an MP3 player plug in to a car. That's all I'm saying. So even if you don't have streaming, you can get digital into a car stereo. But I don't know. I am deciding or debating, or I have been debating about putting more speakers, more stereo into the van. Obviously, I got enough room for it, but I'm pretty satisfied with the van the way the stereo in the van the way it is now. Although it wouldn't be interesting to see what it would be like with a nicer one. I'd have to go into a van with a nicer stereo, I suppose, and listen to how much nicer it is. So we're not getting any other votes, so I guess we'll just go with Boot Hill Museum, or else we'll end. I guess it's been an hour, so let me know if you want to keep going or not, or just leave, and then I'll know because the number goes down. But I'm using this to record stuff. If I end it now, though, and then I got that one video nice and easy to go. But I guess I can just download it now, too. Yeah, I quit trying to do the workshops because nobody would show up, so I'll just do it this way. And if you want to watch, feel free. If you don't, then go watch somebody tell you how to buy guns. Somebody needs to teach people how to buy guns. They're all doing it wrong. National Firearms Museum. Oh, I guess you can't just click on it. You got to click on the thing, too. Why don't we go to Boot Hill, though, because that's what he's talking about. So there's two ways of looking at it. One is this way, where I think you see it better. And then there's this one where you get this wicked gate. So I like this perspective of the building, though. But I think I'm going to fake it. I'm going to go with that perspective of the building, this storefronts, and this gate. Because that's what the power of cartooning is. You don't have to settle. You can do whatever you want. So I'm going to why isn't it clicking? So I first have to click on this. I'm going to give myself a buffer there, and then call this one Boot Hill C. This one is Boot Hill L for lines. And then I can lock those two, lock that one, tell this one to crop. And I just need the piece I need. So this is actually Boot Hill Cemetery, that little white blob in the back, so we'll keep that. And keep that, and there. And then on this one, we'll crop that one to there, and that. And then both of these can become much smaller. So copy them and paste them. Both of these quite a bit smaller. And this is the Fleetwood Mac ripoff song. Oops. Look at that. Highlight those two, drop them down like there. Lock it. Get into the lines and start digging in. Keep watching Bernie Sanders. What does that mean? All right, so I guess we'll just start out with drawing some lines. Ah. I guess when my thumb hits the trackpad, weird things happen. So I gotta guess where this one's gonna be. Yes, that's gonna be right there. I don't know if I guessed that one very good. All right, so that's most of the building already. that's this building. I think that's a different building. All right, so now we're going to throw in a couple of these windows. I'm trying to use the same techniques that they would have used in the prior versions of Adobe Illustrator back in the Old West when they were doing like the newspapers, things back in those days. I say at this time, Bernie has no chance to win, but give us the right time. I really like that because it's big hill. Big hill right there. Like reinventing history right there. Let's see. So now I don't know what to do. I think I will leave all this on one layer. That's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to leave this on one layer and then start doing some color real quick. So real quick, like now I'm going to do that flag. Let's get this flag out of the way. What's going on? And when I go to the eraser this time, I'm going to try to get it as up and down as possible. And as narrow as I can. So that ideally I can just kind of cram it into these holes. Like that. And hope it doesn't screw things up too bad. And everything all goofy looking. See how these things got all, you snap them and they get all weird. I'm gonna leave it though, because that's my technique, is to be all weird. So now I will go back to the other one. Oh no, so I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I just drew another line right through that thing. Alright, so first I'm gonna draw something, I gotta change it. For whatever reason. Just take it. I think I'll leave it a little small like that because it's a flag. And first we'll draw this truck on top of the pole there. And then we'll Right, so now we'll start some color. Unlock that there. Okay, I'm out. Take it easy. I am waiting for the alien invasion. That is what this is all about. I've heard a couple of things about, if it's contact, this would be a way to get everybody to shut up and get ready for contact. But it would be a way to. They were saying it was a way to get everybody to sit down and shut up so that they could have a meteorite hit the Earth. Like if they know a meteor is coming, and this is a good way to get everybody to sit down, and shut up, so that they can, move everybody out of somewhere. Maybe it's going to hit New York or something. So they're like, hey, you know what? Let's make this thing happen so that everybody gets the hell out of New York. Or maybe it was Italy. But if they just said, hey, there's a meteor going to hit, people would be like, yeah, get out of here with that info. We don't care. I seen it on the YouTube that it wasn't going to happen, so I'm not going to worry about it. But they make everybody afraid they're going to cough on each other. They can accomplish the same thing, maybe. At least I heard that. All right, now we're done fiddling with it. I'll go back to coloring. Let's use that color for lack of a better color. Any day if they listen. He's a shill, a scumbag. Who is? I don't know what we're talking about. Now this one's a ripoff, and I'm glad I got to see it when it was like this, because now they're changing it to be a big modern building, and it's gonna suck butt. It's really bad. I don't know why they're thinking. Unless they're gonna make it look really cool when it's done somehow, because right now it looks really bad. It looks like they just put up a Blockbuster video in front of this place, like right in the grass over here. I don't know how many people go to, where is this? Dodge City, Kansas anymore. People used to go there though. But I'm pretty sure by putting a big Blockbuster in the middle of everything, they're not going to entice anybody to go look at the history of a big Blockbuster in the middle. All right, so now I'll try to pull some colors. See what happens. Don't have any idea what that color is going to do, so now we'll go to this front color. Try to grab it a little later. I guess I'll take that, and then we'll go to this one, and we'll go to this one, and we'll try to grab color. So I'll go with that. And take some colors to these windows. I'll have to take that because that's all I'm going to get. And then I'll go to this, and I'll try to get a color for that roof. There's some roof color, I guess. And now I'll try to get a color. I did the whole thing. So that's it. I think that's all the colors I even have. I got some windows up front, and that is it. So we'll do some windows. That'll work. And give it some more colors, I guess. of this color to go. Yeah, bring that down to 7.5, I guess, perhaps. And we'll tell this thing to bring the front, and then it'll cover all those reds. So that's close enough. And these other things, some colors. Do some crazy shading on this, see what happens. All right, now I gotta kill that color and go in there and write hill on here. I wonder what this said. Boot Hill. That didn't say museum, so I'm gonna type museum in here. Process Boat Hill Museum. I don't know what it said before. Boot Hill something. There. Color back on. Now it says stuff on it. All right, let's save this thing before it gets too crazy. See where we're at with time. We've been working on this thing for 1:39. And are we saying anything? We're down to 8 people. So there's a bunch of people that fell asleep while watching this. And then the old people. I feel bad for the old people. What I do is I harvest this. They start watching something and then they leave the channel on, and then I come along and pull a bunch of their ratings. They can't do nothing about it because nobody's there to pick them up or to change the channel for them or nothing. So they gotta just listen to this. Oh yeah, nightmares. Well, being the old people in the show. Oh, I gotta go back to this there. Right, now we'll put color into there real quick. Oh, gotta put this back over there, this back over to there. Let's see what that sounds. There sounds fair. Let's go to there and there. Back up like this and over. That's almost a flagpole minus that thing at the bottom that I can now see is cutting into it. Make that truck a little bit different color, just because. A lot of times they're gold or something or copper. And then we gotta kill one more line. Back over here, kill this line by jabbing it with an eraser right there. All right, now we got this little museum deal going, but I'm not satisfied with color that pole, so we're changing color that pole up a little bit to that color. Not too good in pole. That's cool. So now, it's still a shitty color. Why don't we kill it in this color? That's better color. All right, so now we can dig into the town, I guess. So let's try that. And I think for that, we're going to just create a couple more layers. And we'll call it Boot Hill. See what I did there? I got rid of the museum. So Boot Hill, even though this is the museum, C, and Boot Hill, paste is L. So this is I just drew, it's just a hotel, and it's really the gift shop. And then all of this looks like a storefront and everything, but it's really just one big building back there. It is the museum. So this is where all the action happens. Front place, you just pay and you come out through there and buy stuff. So we'll just start doing some of this. Oh, I'm using the wrong tool. Can't go that way. I guess I could have left it there. But do this, and do this, and now I'm using my tool. So I don't know what that sign is necessarily, but it's something. And then we've got a shape thing. Oh, I know what I should do first. Is get some kind of a line like this across. say boardwalk. And then we'll do a bunch of these different things. Different lights, I guess. I think that might actually be the gunshot that I did first there. Or else it's this one. It's one of these two right up front. I just didn't realize this building looks like a Glock rear sight. Did Glock steal their rear sight from the Old West building? Dodge City? Alright, so that looks kind of like the town. And one more side over here. Hit the right button, not the wrong button. Now, zoom in here a little bit. Over here. Got some comments. Got some comments. Let's see what's happening. Boot Hill entrance. Should make AK card with V2. It's going to take 3 decks to do all the AK cards. When we first did that deck, it was going to take 3 decks to do them all. I didn't get enough interest in the first to do 3, but I don't know. I really want to do 3 silhouette decks just to finish that concept, but there's just not enough call for it. I don't sell those decks anywhere near enough to, you know how much it costs to make those decks? You may want to know. It's like $9,000 to make those decks. $9,500 and something dollars to make those decks. There's no way. I haven't even sold $5,000 worth of decks. No way. Never. Not even close. I did technically sell that many because we did the crowdfunding, but no, there's no way. I'd have to make many, many fewer. And, well, I don't know. It's actually, I don't remember anymore. It seemed like a lot of work. It might not be as much work as it was because I've done more decks since then, but it would definitely take months to put it together. And there's not that many people who want it. I do like making stuff that doesn't need to exist, but we don't have ultimate resources either. Bob is still around, isn't he? He's just sleeping. That horse is out there. I didn't send any links out today. Fine Ape's allowed to be up. We don't have bedtimes. There are no bedtimes in the after. That was just that was a before concept. Now that people don't have jobs, we have to get up for. So I don't need to have bedtimes. It's crazy. All right, so now we're going to quit lines and we're going to go to colors, and we'll flip over to the fill instead of stroke, and just pick some color and start filling up little squares of stuff. Let's just zoom in and fill these squares up better than worse. Big difference between filling them up like across the street and doing it right here where you can see them. Big difference. All right, so now we'll go back to basically coloring. No, I shouldn't do that one first. The only real thing here is to do the bigger shapes first so that you don't have to fart around and look for the smaller shapes in a minute. So this smaller shape will be on top of that bigger shape, so I won't have to go hunting for it. If I would have done the smaller shapes first, then the big shape would be on top of them, and I would have to go hunting for it in a minute. I don't want to do that in case time. And I guess the other trick is to not be exactly the same on every single one of these so that there's some kind of variation. I guess ideally these things would have all been made by different people. Although they're trying to live in the same town together, and there's probably only a number of contractors or construction dudes to do everything. So you're going to have some similarities where the same guy does the same job for a bunch of different people. But then you're also, I'm going to leave that gap there. I wanted to make a gap. Now it's my picture. And that way you got some consistency, but not 100% consistency. I do them all in brown because it doesn't matter. I just need the shapes first, and then I'll go back and fill with color. But otherwise, it would just take forever if I sat here and did worried about each color as soon as I drew the shape. That's fake, but I don't care. I did it anyway. And then I'll just layer these things up so that each one of them is their own separate shape. I color them independently. I don't know what this was. I'm going to say that it's a ham curing on the hook. Sometimes they would do that kind of stuff. So there, and back over. See, and that way that's how you behind that one. And that's how you create perspective. Is that the right word? Depth, maybe that's the right word. Go in, make sure that that overhang goes on top of it. Little jumps like that, like covering that, will make, I think that alludes to, makes the illusion of depth. I'm going to go ahead and make these uprights a separate color. And this should have been in the background. I'm gonna have to cut it so it doesn't waste my time later. Fanciest place in town doesn't even have a door. Oh, well. You had to go in over here to get into there. In real life, this is all, there's a couple of doors for like fire or whatever, but in real life, you go in over here from the back of the museum or from the back of the gift shop, and you just stay inside. You just walk through the walls, basically, back and forth. You can go out front if you want, but you don't need to. You don't have to go out front. It could be raining and you can still see this whole museum. So, like, you walk in and you're in a, I think you're in like a soda fountain, whatever they call, like, not really a restaurant, it's like a drugstore soda fountain type of thing. And then you go out of there into the guns so they don't fart around. You go from like soda fountain to guns. Actually, you go from soda fountain to pharmacist to guns. And then from guns, you go to, dang, I think, no, it's a gunsmith. I was going to say, I think it's another pharmacist, but it's a gunsmith. And then after the gunsmith, you go to the jail. And then after the jail, one of them is like a, I don't remember what order anymore, but one of them is a printing press from like a newspaper. And one of them is the jail. One of them is, there's not really a saloon. You go to the saloon at the beginning. That, like, I guess that's a saloon, not a pharmacist, or not a five and dime. Anyway, there's like whatever you call like a stable, right? There's horses. There might have been, I think there's a showroom or something, like a showgirl thing, like where the girls would dance. I'm trying to think of all the different buildings. They're all something. One of them was like stuff that old men would whittle out of like wood, like old people would whittle out of wood back in the day. Because back in the day, the old people are going to want to complain, but they're not. There's no internet to complain about, or like, you know, the way kids are doing stuff wasn't fast enough for them to complain about enough. So they would whittle, and then they could complain about wood or knives or whatever. But there's a thing about all this stuff that people would like, the crafts and things that people would do. It was kind of neat. Uh-oh. Well, I'm going to do this. See what I just did? I made lemonade out of lemons. So I just screwed up, and now I just went ahead and unscrewed up. And now I can act like I wanted it to be that way. And I can put this here. And then I can do this, 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 and this. Right? That's the whole thing. And then I don't think there's anybody stopping me from doing this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. So deal with it. And then I'm going to do this, and this, and this, and this, and this also. Do that a couple more times, or should I copy and paste? This is where you think about copying and pasting, and the more you think about it, the less efficient it would be until, all right, I might as well just do it completely this way, and then you think about, should I have done it the other way? If you mess up, you definitely should have done it. All right, so now we can, let's do the boardwalk too. Okay. Boardwalks had color probably. So we'll go to here and here, way over there, like that. Back way over here where we started, and a little bit of that thing. Yeah. Now I'm going to rub my eyes some more because my eyes started getting super itchy. I've been drawing for 2 hours. This is 2 hours worth of drawings. And what do we got with quiz responses? We only got 5. Let me refresh this to make sure. Yeah, there's still only 5. And then if I go back to here, I can click send, get that little URL. Cancel, go back to responses, drop this into here. Bam. Let's see, you guys know of any better sites for buying ammo? Shortage of 9mm. 9mm is shortage, but yeah, fuck yourself. How about that? Let's go to responses, and yeah, there's only 3 for Browning, 1 for that, and 1 for that. So still doing Browning. Already did Browning. So exactly. Exactly. Nah, that's a troll. And YouTube has anybody can be a troll. YouTube, it's like the easiest place. It's like for the laziest of trolls. Oh, I'm gonna be on YouTube because anybody can get on YouTube. That's the way trolls sound. So then we'll start pulling that picture for there. And then this, I need to figure out the keyboard commands for these so that this kind of process is faster. I want that to be more like a pink. Like Anonymous's pants, pink. We'll go to here maybe. I'm just gonna go to pink. Okay. Sometimes you can pull it, sometimes you can't. So we'll just make our own. I don't like that pink. There's a better pink. Right. Leave that one. And then we'll go to this one. Pick some. There's a blue color that's kind of cool. Oh, I need to figure out how to toggle this back and forth. How can I? Oh, I can't toggle to the arrow though, so I'm screwed. So that's a red color. So I'll have to use it. Yeah, good. Green. And then that could be this color. That color. This can be that whitish color. Come on. How come I can't pull white off of here? Fake. Fake colors down there. Back to here. Click here. What are these drawings for? One, to gain skill, so I can do other things when guns don't pay the bills and I have to go do something else for a living. And now I can go be a cartoonist somewhere. But also to, I don't know, for about 6 different projects. So it's one of these deals. You got to build resources so that you have the elements needed to complete the projects. And then once I've got the elements, I can start to stack or use the elements in different ways. So since it takes so long to create them, or to, well, create them, yeah. At least I can't sit down and spend the time to just knock them all out in like, one session after another, which would be that kind of neat. So I'm just sort of sneaking these in. Most of the time I'm doing other stuff all day, and this is a way to de-stress. But right now I'm working on this project. I need a bunch of these for something. So the answer is many projects. Why can't I get yellow out of there? What's going on with that? Why are they working colors from me? Where I can see that it's yellow right there. It won't let me pull yellow. That looks yellow, doesn't it? Anyway, so lots and lots of projects. Immediately, I do some videos where I talk about the museums. So they'll go into those series. I've been watching my YouTube videos on the big channel. There's a series on museums where I fast forward all this so that this happens quickly. And then it almost looks like an animation a little bit. But mainly it's to give me consistent artwork, right? And then it's an excuse for a session like this where we sit around. If this was normal times, people were deciding where they might want to go on a vacation or something. Maybe have conversations like that about that. But to excuse to talk about museums that are gun related that normally don't get talked about. Typically, your situation is that somebody wants to make money, so they're going to do stuff on the line that brings a lot of people to the yard, and then they can sell their milkshakes, and that's cool. But nobody gets paid to go to these museums really, so that means nobody's shaking no museum milkshake. So I said, why don't we screw around with the internet and do it different? So I got Patreons, and those Patreons pay me enough to be able to spend time doing shit like this that 10 people care about instead of 1,000 people care about. And then the result is there's at least one person on the internet talking about this boring ass firearms museums and giving them shit. Because the thing is, if they were paying me, I couldn't say they ruined their museum by putting a subway up front, but they did. So, because my Patreons are paying me to do this, I can say shit like that. You don't have to worry about it being a fake ass review of it. Oh shit, I don't need to click anything. I did these already. So now I'm going to take that door and that window. Oh no, I didn't do that door. So that door, and most of these windows. How about these windows? And let's pull a color. Let's pull the color of a window. Boom. So that adds a level of detail that I like. Real quick like. Now are you telling me I didn't do that door? I didn't do that door. So we'll this, and this, and this, and this. And let's make that a blue door. Blue. And let's make that thing closer to red. I think there's a lot of problems with the front still. So we're going to take those fronts and make them like that color. And then we'll take those fronts and make them that color. Get the color of that door. What am I missing? I think I got a couple of roofs I need to do. Not that. And make those roofs this color. And then we got this roof, and this roof, and this roof, and they should be an even darker color. There, now we got some diversity, just like the Old West, full of diversity. And then we'll take those two, take that color and make it a little bit darker. And then try to find these things up front here and turn those into, you know what I'm going to do? Because there's no rules, I'm making them this color. No, this color. I just did it. All right, now I'm going to make that little thing a much darker color. That color. Nope, even darker than that. I'll make it that color. All right, now what am I missing? Why don't we make that thing blue also? And then we'll take these two blues, and then this thing can be blue. Because those are glass. And we'll take these things that are made out of glass and we'll drop them to like that opacity. They're barely even blue anymore. There we go. Boom. Now we got that and that. I could probably leave it like that. So now I can probably open up another layer and unlock all of those. What is this? Okay, leave that. And now, nope, I need to close this layer. At least lock that layer. And now I can take this and copy it and lock and put it on this layer. Say right there. And then lock it and hide it. Open those two back up. Copy. Lock. Open. Paste. Do something like that. And then drop it in behind. Oh shit. So now group all this. That's legal. And then move it over here. Pull this over here. Group this. Also legal. Boom. And then when I jam this underneath here, behind it though, now that thing is in front and I can fiddle around and do something like that. I like it. Now I can close those. Close all these, you can't even see them anymore. And turn that one back on. So there's your Boot Hill Museum. And gift shop. Boom. It's not perfect, but it took about an hour, something like an hour. And that works. So we'll go save as. Oh no, why do I keep doing save as? So save would be save the file. We'll save the file real quick, like just to do it. Look, there's a mistake. That little pipe thing isn't got a color in it. I'm going to change that. So go back over to go back over to here. Zoom in real quick. Paste this thing in. And I've got all the layers touching, so this is like literally the worst way to do this. But yuck. How do I do this? There's not even a way to do this. Oh, yeah, there is. I can send it to the back. Let's take the dumbest way to do it. And of course, change it to a better color than blue. All right, that's what we're doing. Yuck. It's horrible. I shouldn't do it that way. All right, so we're going to unlock this layer, pull this out, delete the hotel. Delete the hotel. All right. Kill that layer. Get the hotel back. Open it up the way we should and fill this piece in. You don't want to not have a smokestack, right? So now save real quickly. It doesn't actually happen quickly because it's too big of a file. All right, and then grab it again, copy, lock, on C, open, C, unlock, open, C, unlock, paste. Now it's better. And where was this thing going to go? Right about like that. Now we're cooking. So now I can go boot hill, copy, save real quick. Once you lose all your work for like 2 hours, you start remembering how to save more often. All right, and then down to export as, and we'll click on one of these, and then we'll drop the name of the place in there, Boot Hill. Now it's exporting as a PNG, which is a PNG, transparent background. That's done. So now we'll go to export. We'll touch it. Where is it? We'll touch it. And then we'll flip it to JPEG. And that'll give us the same name in a JPEG. And now it has a white background. All right. And now got all kinds of chatting going on. This looks like more people are coming in. Just my nickname. Get a better nickname on the internet. I don't know, unless you're 16. Are you a troll? Get rid of this shit already. One more weird comment, you're out of here. Malt over milkshakes? I don't know. So that's where that started. Ye old Subway? I don't know what that's all about. Classic meatballs where it's at? I don't know what that's all about. I don't know what this is supposed to mean. Never had a malt. How can you have never had a malt? So there's probably a whole bunch of people that never been to a real soda machine either. So there's a difference between bottled corn syrup garbage that you drink now and I guess garbage that they used to make in the olden days where they would have weird seltzer water and coming out of a fountain and they would scoop everything. I've only ever been to one of those like 3 times. 2 of them when I was a little kid and one of them when I was pretty little. I don't even know if they exist anymore. There's probably versions of them now that are not good because unless you go to one there's an old person working in, I wouldn't trust it. I'm not going to trust no 18-year-old, 16-year-old kid to know how things used to be done. So if you went to like a reenactment or something, it would be interesting. But yeah, if you've never had a malt, where were we at? No, here. So he's going to tell you here, I guess, in a minute. So I'm wondering how many people have had malts. We got 11 people in here. We'll see how many people have had malts. We'll make this picture bigger so it's not boring as shit to look at this. And then let's see. I mean, geez, what? I'm not going to sell anything to nobody. True that. Yeah, so that's one way to think of it. If you ever eat a malted milk ball, imagine that in a milkshake, though. It's not good. Like you gotta like it. It's it's like coffee, right? You gotta like it. Malts are more airy. Mm, I guess you could say that. It's because there's the way they make them. They have to make them different because otherwise they'd be gross. They would taste like poison or something. I think you're saying you liked malted milk balls, which are malt. So it's the residue off a beer, right? Whenever you pour a beer, all the glutens go to the top and they're that white foamy stuff, and they scrape that off with a knife. At least in the olden days, you would pour a beer and all the glutens would rise to the top, and you'd scrape those off with a knife, and those would fall off, and they would scoop all those into a bowl, and then you would uh, make your malts out of that. The guy who assessed mine said he paid 2 cents. Then is the added malt flavor hot fudge malts? So malt is better with chocolate than I can't imagine having malt with like strawberry or something. That would be gross. Chocolate, there's probably like other things, maybe coconut or something that would work, but malt's not going to work with everything for sure. And I think it was a powder. I think they would scoop it in there, and it's probably yeast or something gross. Let's see. It's basically a milkshake that has that malt powder added, which is definitely the definition. But what it does to the milkshake, it's like an aftertaste, and it's also something while you're drinking it. I'm trying to think. Have you ever drank a kombucha? Is that what those things are called? Those like carbonated drinks that are, I don't know what to call them. They're like kind of juices, but they're sparkly, and they're brewed, right? So the yeast activates each sugar, but they don't let them sit until they turn into alcohol. So you've still got that like beer phenomenon happening, and that gives it that like, I don't know what to call it, like a chemical kind of taste. Malts aren't anything like that, but they're in that way. They've got that weird taste that's hard to describe, or at least we don't have words for it in our simple ass flavors. The problem is I can't recommend somebody trying a malt, because if you just went to like the suck ass suck shop and ordered a malt, it's probably going to be gross. I don't think a good malt is, I think you'd have to go to somebody who knows what malts taste like and ask them where a good one is and then go there. I don't think you can just randomly find a good malt. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I know that I would never order one. I think I might have ordered one once to see what it was like, and then a second time once, just to do it. And then I didn't like it at some point, and then I tried it maybe a third time, and I was like, nah, I'm not wasting my time getting a whole milkshake that's going to be gross. It's like gambling. Do I want this milkshake to be gross, or do I want it to be good? Kmart had them. Malts? I didn't know that. I only ate them at stupid, like, what do they call them? Where the guys got a soda jerk and all that, and they're wearing like paper hats usually. Made a big production out of it. The kind of places where they would make their own ice creams and stuff too. They would make them. And that's where I figure you're getting the best chance, because you're getting a bunch of ingredients that are pretty basic and pretty good, probably. But I don't know. Let's see what the internet says about it. All the things that we talk about, malted milkshake, I guess. People are like, oh, let's talk about like some kind of pie or some kind of dessert or something. And you're like, oh, I kind of want to eat that. I don't have any interest in eating a malt. If I was in the right mood, I would probably drink one, maybe. I mean, I'm not scared of them. I don't hate them, but I can't imagine ever being in a mood to want to eat one again. Is it for being sick? Is it something you drink when you're like got heartburn or when you're about to poop or something? It has a toasty, buttery flavor that's just a bit savory. I would not say that at all. It's not buttery. Malted milk powder is blended with ice cream milk and whatever. So what is malt? Malt is a product left over after cereal grain has been dried, allowed to sprout, air dried again, and then heated. So all you got to do is take cereal grain, glutens, dry them, sprout them, dry them again, heat them, and then eat them. That's your malt. So it's basically the gross afterthought of some other thing that tasted good. And then people are like, hey, I'm too cheap to throw that away. Is it going to kill you? No. Then let's put it in a milkshake and make kids eat it. What is a malt allergy? Somebody doesn't like drinking malt, probably. Oh, shit. I wouldn't go around drinking malt. You can get pharyngitis, enteritis, rhinitis, edema of the eyelids, urticariasis, and a broad spectrum. So you're going to have the broad spectrum. You can get intracutaneous skin tests, whatever, to find out if you can drink a malt or not. I never heard of anybody being scared of or allergic to malt, though. You can't tell a malted milkshake by looking at it, so I don't see any point in looking at pictures. It looks exactly like a regular milkshake. I never ate at the store counters. Target started offering waffle cones and only like 3 times. Oh, you mean like at Kmart? When I was a little kid, Kmart had the ices, and they were different than Slurpees. So I would get them just to verify that I hated them, just to make sure that they didn't taste better or something. But that garbage icy at Kmart was horrible. Somehow they incorporated 80% more air into it with 10% less, or with only 10% of the flavor of a 7-Eleven. They were not good. But otherwise, I never ate anything at a Kmart or a Target if I could help it. At our Kmart back in the old days, you'd walk in the door and then you'd have all your cash registers to the left, and to the right, it was like a island kind of little place for the manager, I guess. Maybe like customer returns, that kind of thing. And then that is where they had a slushy or an icy machine. And then you probably could buy candy and crap there. But then if you go all the way to the back of the store, straight back from the doors for our store, all the way to the back, then there was like a restaurant type of place. And there was chairs and you could sit there. It was like having a, I don't know, it was a shitty McDonald's. It wasn't a McDonald's. It was like, it was their own brand, but it wasn't anywhere near as nice as a McDonald's. It was like an old 70s restaurant or fast food place in the middle of the Kmart. And that's where you could get like hot dogs and normal food, I guess. And then, wait, could you even get slushies back there? I don't think you could get ices back there. I think you had to go up front to get an icy. Kmart ham sandwiches. I think I might remember eating a Kmart ham sandwich before. That's the kind of crap you'd get at a Kmart, is like food from like a diner. A little cafe. It was an old dude that just had the cafe. You're talking about in the Kmart, yeah. I think we're talking about the same things. My grandmother took me to Woolworths when I was a tiny tot to have lunch. I never got to do that. No, I've never been to a Woolworths counter. I've been to places like it, but never to a Woolworths. Wasn't the Army still packing malted dextrose tablets in the rations? No. Malted dextrose tablets? I don't even know if I've never heard of that. So no. I was the first unit, so I was like 87 to some 90 something. So we were the brown MREs. So let's see, when did MREs start? They started before us, but we definitely had the first. They started in delivery in 81. So we were the first, basically. I'm sure I was eating 1981 MREs. Was the first date of pack in 83 with the 25th Infantry. Okay, so I guess we probably would have been eating 1883 MREs. But when you look at them, old, or let's say first, they used to be brown, and now they're tan. This is an old MRE from 1886. I still have a couple of these. These are like what I remember eating as these dark brown MREs, and then nowadays they look different. They look all tan. This was definitely the gross days of MREs. They were still figuring stuff out back in the day. So yeah, they were not great. But super awesome compared to C rations, which are weird and old. We didn't want to eat anything old people ate. They wanted to make sure that the new army didn't have to eat anything the old army had to eat. But yeah, so I don't think there was anything I never ate a dextrose tablet, so no. But I think I know we had some kind of field tablets for cooking stuff, but I can't think of any tablets except for maybe in a lifeboat or something. All right, well, look at the time. It's 2:23. We've been running the show for 2 hours, 23 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and try to end it before 2:23 ends. So that means we're done. I don't have to ask anybody what they got any plugs because we're not plugging nothing. There's nobody in here. We've just been drawing a couple of different gun museums. So in the weeks that follow, you can watch those gun museum drawings appear on the big channel. Thanks for joining us. Most of you left already, so screw all those people that are just fair weather. I'm only going to hang around for an hour and a half worth of middle of the night live chat about guns. I'm just kidding. Thanks for showing up and being part of it. If you're listening to it in the future, we don't even know unless you let us know somehow. So we see the views, but that could all be robots and communists for all we know. Have a good night. Stay safe. We'll see you tomorrow.